First, I'd like to thank the elders for letting me speak here today. Pay my respects to the traditional owners as well, and I will make sure it's very quick. Budgery Narpin. I chair Budgery Narpin. Budgery Narpin is an Aboriginal sports group that started probably 10 years ago from a group of people wanting our community to be involved in sport and to have a healthy and active lifestyle. Over the 10 years, we literally begged, borrowed and stole from organisations to support groups of kids participating in basketball, soccer, swimming, cricket, netball, just to name a few of the sports that we've had over the long period of time. I can remember the first event we had was at Wollongballam, where we literally tried cricket, football, basketball, swimming, there was tennis, and the kids just loved it, and that grew the interest of the community to participate in the sport in general. Over the 10 years, we had cricket days down at Latrobe, we've had basketball camps down here, we've had soccer days down here where we had members from Gippsland coming along and participating with over a hell of a lot of young kids playing the sport. And we sat around probably 5 years ago where we decided to become an incorporated body so we can apply for funding through most of the orgs and funding groups throughout the state. We had a board, which I seem to be the unluckiest fella to be put up at the head, like the figurehead. However, I've quite enjoyed it. I've had some very interesting challenges through community and people within their roles and their values and their thoughts on running a group and sporting group and all that. I find it very challenging I'm fairly well strong-minded where I think our community could go and where it should go through sport. I think we have the ability to have a lot more representative Koori kids playing at the elite level and supporting, and with support from Budgery Narpin, Gippsland, and all that would make it a lot easier for our kids and their kids and so on. I was having a conversation with Barry and Dave earlier on where the Churchill Soccer Club, I'll use Churchill as an example. My boy played out there last year and there was 30 kids, and this year we made a fair dinkum push to get a lot more kids. Now we've got 90 to 100 kids playing soccer, and I think soccer's starting to take a good foothold in this area, and the AFL are lagging a little bit behind. And I'm not no offence against the AFL, but I think soccer down here has kicked off in big leaps and bounds. Why do I think I've got questions saying I've got to keep to task? I want to jump all over the place. The board that I chair and supported from Peter Monta, who's at Sport and Rec, and community members and as well as staff from other organisations, it has been really good. It's actually kept me fairly well level-headed and not being pig-headed. But we all literally seem to come around and we sit around the table and there's a few arguments, I should say, or fairly heated discussions on where we should go and what we should support and what we do. But at the end, when we've all come to an agreement and we're literally focused on one group and one part or one sport, we all seem to get behind it and keep it going, which is a good thing. What works well? The support from other agencies, the community, and just the willingness of our kids and adults to partake in any sports. we had 3 carnivals in the valley, football, netball carnivals, and the first one was fairly tense, and we had probably 800 community members attend, 5 footy teams, and probably 11 to 12 netball sides. And I take my hat off to the girls. I think the girls played. I would never play netball against any of the girls because I thought netball was a non-contact sport. But I'm pretty sure the girls quite enjoyed it. And then the second year where we had Melbourne and Hawthorn had in to throw some stuff at us, and that was great. And we probably had 1,000 plus people at the day, and that was run really well. And the last one we had was out at Thorpedale, where we had, because of the mine fires and all that, and that was an even better day because the netball was literally right beside the footy ground, and the community atmosphere was absolutely tremendous. It was a great day. Bairnsdale flogged the liver and daylights out of us, but that was okay. Do I think a Budgeree-Narpin could work in other areas? Yes, I do. I think you've got to have the right community people to support it in that area, and it'll go a long way. Look, there are, out in the community, we do have a lot of people that love to be involved in sport, and I think if we get the right people behind it all, we can make, another sporting group in the East Gippsland, Far East Gippsland, down south, bigger and better. So Budgeree-Narpin's just starting to have a lot more sporting organisations look at us and want to be involved with us, and I think that's because of the work of a lot of people within that group and a lot of people that believe that the pathways to better education, better community stuff is through the sporting field. And it is good to see a lot of our kids getting out and taking sport on in general. So, yep, done.
Thank you, Laurie.
To acknowledge the traditional owners which have been invited to speak, and pay my respects to the elders past and present. VACSAL is the Victorian Aboriginal Community Services Associated Limited, and it's a statewide agency that provides advice to government on a range of community development issues, as well as being a major provider of extensive services to the Aboriginal community in both the metropolitan and some regional communities. So these services are the community development program, which Lelly and I are in, as the Bert Williams Youth Hostel, the Aboriginal Centre for Men, where they provide a range of services out of, the Best Start, Aboriginal Best Start program, which is an early years program, and there's a homelessness program too, which is based around in the northern metropolitan areas and out west. And then we also have a RTO, which where people can go and get their certificates in community development. So VACSAL, a couple of years ago we heard, there was a big cry from the community to, with the loss of VASA, which was the Victorian Aboriginal Youth Sport and Rec. So we heard that, and we wanted to pick up a lot of the statewide sporting events that had ceased when they ceased. So we went along, CDO, we wanted to pick that up. So I just want to talk about VACSAL, but Uncle Al's going to talk about them. We have offices, CDO offices in Ballarat and Shepparton, people in CDOs also manage a lot of them other programs, and I think you want to know more about sports, but the sports that we do, carnivals that we do is the VACSAL basketball tournaments, which was just held in March in Shepparton, and it'll be in Shepparton again next year. we hold, we have the Junior Football Netball Carnival, which is in the September holidays. We also have a NAIDOC 3-on-3 event, which is in July, something that we just trialled last year with Basketball Victoria was a state junior basketball program. So we trialled that, and that was with under 14s and under 16s. And the aim of that program was to select teams, you know, like Michelle said earlier, you know, you go away to these tournaments and you see all these, you know, great young kids who are, you know, really skilled, but they haven't had the opportunity to play at a, you know, representative level. So we've held tryouts and kids came along to that, and from that we picked teams, and we went to 2 basketball tournaments in Echuca and Hamilton, and the kids, you know, do really well. And our focus for that program was that to encourage kids to go back to their local communities and join their local teams. So I'll pass on to Lelly to talk about the outside.
So what Jim was saying is, with the demise of VASA, we had to do some sporting stuff because everything. Once we lost the football carnival for a couple of years, it's hard to get it back. So they've just got it back from Bendigo, and I think they had about. I think they had 20 netball sides, or 20 football sides, 30 netball sides, which attended Bendigo this year. So we grabbed the Bill Mule Classic, now called the VASA Aboriginal Aboriginal Carnival, and we had 80 sides attend this year. So we're looking at big regional towns to take the tournament, but we also need the capacity to have a lot of basketball courts because of 80 sides. We struggled a bit. We had to use the Shepparton Stadium. We had 4 basketball courts. We had another 2 at Lizzie, which is down the road a bit, and then we had to use a couple of school basketball stadiums just so we could fit it in. And our carnivals are not just for kids; we have seniors and juniors together. So it's families that actually come up together, and mums can watch their kids play, kids can watch their dads and mums play, which is what we really like to have. We also run a junior netball football carnival. This year it's going to be in Echuca, and I usually ring around communities to find out if people want to come. So I try and get contacts in each community to make sure that we have participation from every community in the state. And this year, so we're looking at Echuca, so we're going to have, and they're just getting bigger and bigger. Our carnival is like our first basketball carnival. We started with about 15 sides, and now we're at 80 and still growing. So, you know, for communities to have the basketball carnival, they've got to have the capacity to make sure they can do that sort of stuff. We also do a 3-on-3 basketball carnival through NAIDOC week, and that's mainly in Melbourne, but we have some communities come. Shepparton come last year, Ballarat come, and that's because we've got people that work in that community. We've got CEDOs in Ballarat and one in Shepparton, so we have those people that come, and so we're doing a lot of stuff, and we want to make sure the Gippsland get involved in that. And that's why we've come today, to make sure, to let you know that, you know, we'd love to have something down in Gippsland. Just to, you know, I remember coming to one football carnival many years ago in Bairnsdale, you know, and just to have the community involved is a great asset. But you've got to have people in those communities that want to jump up and actually do the work with you. We find it hard. We find it hard to run the carnivals because of volunteers. You know, we get staff from work, but we don't get any volunteers from the local community, other than a couple. So when we have the carnival, we really like communities to jump on board and make sure that they're really involved with us, because they're long days. The carnival we had in Shep, like we were there at 7 in the morning and we didn't leave till like 9 at night. So it's a 14-hour day for us, and we'd like more people involved with us. And just getting involved is the main thing, and we'd love to have teams from Gippsland. I think we had an under 9 or an under 10 side from Bairnsdale come down this year, and yet they played under 12. They look like real little compared to our other under 12 side. They were just little midgets, and because they didn't know we had an under 10s competition going. So we'd really like to get involved and help with this with anyone really, any communities that want to try and have our carnivals. We're quite happy to come and sit down and have a yarn with you about what we can do together. So just to go back to Michelle, I think she sells herself a little bit short because of all the stuff that Michelle's done for Aboriginal basketball, well not just in Victoria but in Australia. I think you sell yourself a bit short. You should talk a little bit more about yourself and really sell yourself because we love having you in our carnivals. It's just great just to have a name there. We also had Silverioli come down and he sat around and there was that many kids around him. They just love having role models and just to have you people there. It's great. So thanks a lot for that.
Thank you. So we're going to open it up to the floor now. So if you have any questions that you'd like to ask Laurie, June or Lelly, just throw your hands up, let me know, and we can kick it off. But
council support is probably number one.
Yep.
All right, so with a lot of the venues, so you really need to think in Shepparton. Why's been there for a number of years. The council gave us a deal that you have it here for 3 years, you get the venue for free. So we get the basketball stadium and busy. So for nothing. So we've got council support, that's a really great help. The other thing is, what Lelly said was the courts, or if it's football, netball, whether you have the football and netball in one location, that's always a plus. We can work with communities that they are separate, but you need to have at least the football together and the netball together, especially for the football netball juniors, so it's really good to have them all in one location. And also, I just think, again, volunteers. Yeah, it's really hard. So we've got a staff for about 50. We might get 10 come away for us to help because we're asking them to give up their time, especially the basketball. It's on a weekend, so we're asking them to give up their time to come and help. Yeah, so volunteers is big.
It's mainly venue the capacity to hold 80 teams. And that's why we identified Shepparton. And there's other big places like Ballarat who's got a big stadium, Geelong, and Melbourne. But there's other. If you've got the venue, then you're halfway there, sort of. And volunteers, like I said, is a big one. There sure is. Yeah. It's probably one of the bigger costings is having the referees, and they're not cheap. Yeah. so having our own would be great.
And we're competing, so it's a Labor Day weekend, and we're competing against championships all across, a couple other tournaments across Victoria. Mm-hmm. So to be able to draw referees in, we have to pay them more. Yeah. So, and we're actually pretty lucky that I've got a friend who actually coordinates referees for me, and she's got a lot of umpire friends. So I've been lucky in that respect. But if she decides that she can't help out or something happens, then we're a bit stuck. Definitely happy to talk about that. Yeah. Especially we're running round robins in your local community and helping facilitate that. Lelly and I are happy to come down do that.
I think it's also about community choice. Like, we know a lot of our tournaments are a lot of family sides, so it gives them a chance to play together when they usually don't. So it's about choices. I think we probably someday down the track we need to look at capping it at a number, how many teams we've got. But until that sort of happens, then we'll just keep going until we put them on for community participation. We put it on for everyone. So, you know, I think if we start thinking about having regional sides, then maybe, but you know, we can look at that down the track. But what we really want to look at is having a statewide committee, so someone from each region. That way we don't have to ring up Naomi and say, Naomi, we've got the carnival on, which I do all the time, and say, listen, we've got it coming up, can you bring it in? But if we've got someone on that committee, then it's that they already know it's on, and get back to their community and start talking about it.
It started probably 6 months out from the carnival, and it was the board and budgeting up and that group, and then we just got volunteers, or we had some of the guys from Gippsland, is it the SADA, come out and help as well. So it just takes that time of organising where, when, sending out the information to communities, especially in Gippsland, if they're going to put aside and a definite that commitment. So yeah, about 6 months, and look, then there was arguments of where it should be held: East Gippsland, West Gippsland, Central Gippsland, but it seems to be always here. So, and we found it very hard to find netball courts close to the footy grounds. More East has a great football ground, but only 2 netball courts. And the amount of netball sides that played, 12. So more Park came handy. When we went out to Thorpedale, there was 4 netball courts, and it ran quite well. And the football, was just a stone throw away. So, but it's just, we had I think we had 10, 15 volunteers plus the board, and I think there's about 13 or 14 on that as well.
Money. Money, it's just, yeah. We just struggle. We struggle to do anything because we can't get any money. We were running our basketball carnivals on a shoestring budget. If it wasn't for organisations in Melbourne, then we wouldn't have this carnival going for a couple of years, because there was just no money about to run it. And it was the same with the football and netball. We were trying to get the AFL involved, but because we were just having Koori people and not other people participating, they didn't want to. They wouldn't fund us just for an Aboriginal carnival when we was based. That's sort of and that was one of the barriers. We just couldn't get any funding to run it. But we still try and run things on whatever we can get. And like we said, like before, if we've got our own referees, it makes it a little bit easier. Mm-hmm. But you're still looking at 20, 30 referees. And then if you get them from other communities, you've got to pay for their accommodation to come down, and then you pay for them. So yeah, so money's a big one for us anyways.
I find, especially in kids partaking in the local area, is the support from the families and community. The kids won't go, and if they've got a raggedy pair of socks or hole in their shorts, the kids want to have reasonably good shorts, reasonably good socks, the soccer boots and all that stuff. And they feel shame if they've got to rock up to Pegasus or Fortuna or somewhere like that in soccer side or the footy side. And we find it very hard to support our kids to get out there, and if we can support them a little bit more, and families to have where we want our kids to go. And that's one of the barriers. I played a hell of a lot of sport throughout my crazy bit of a lifestyle. And the barriers were, it's another black fella coming in, he's going to cause trouble and trouble and trouble. But everyone in this room wants to play at this level, and the only way we're going to get to this level is be strong, who we are, to get to where we are, to where we want to be. And if we can support our kids and community doing that, I think we'll break out more barriers down. There are foundations out there where they can literally go and get soccer boots, shorts, jumpers, training kits and all that to support kids. There are trust funds throughout I think I think you start up a sporting group down there, connect with Gippsland, with all the funding agencies, AFL Victoria, basketball, they're the main, all the sports orgs want Koori people to take part in it, but they need to come to the table as well.
We're going to talk about grants and stuff a bit later too, so we might cover some of that later.
Just really quickly, I know down in Shepparton and I know in Melbourne, they get really creative with their funding options. Mm-hmm. So we know sport is like, dangling the golden carrot in front of them, like you've got the kids, so you get creatives like with frags and all that. So for funding to run, sporting clubs or stuff, and then because you've got the participation, you've got the kids already there, you can do what you need to do to fulfil the funding obligations. So you can get creative, which I've done.
We'll continue the discussions, guys. We've got a full agenda. We want to keep moving, but save it for lunch and for the networking after we finish. All right. So I'm just conscious of time, so apologies, but we've got discussions that we have through lunch and afterwards with the networking. Thanks, guys. You did so well.